The Battle of Alesia is probably one of the most unique and exciting battles in history. But what made it so special? We'll try to find it out today. A Roman commander named Gaius Julius Caesar, or Julius Caesar in English, as a proconsul of Cisalpine Gaul, conquered all of Gaul up to the English Channel and the Atlantic Ocean in the years from 58 to 51 BC. He also organized military campaigns in Britain and beyond the Rhine, which meant that there were fewer Roman forces stationed in Gaul. The Gallic commanders decided to take advantage of the situation. After initial unsuccessful attempts, a young prince of Arverni named Vercingetorix unified most of the Gallic tribes. Using the scorched earth policy, he managed to gain some victories and even temporarily cut off Caesar's main forces. The Roman leader started his campaign by taking small towns and capturing supplies. Then he besieged a city of Avaricum. The Romans managed to take the city, but were constantly under attack from Vercingetorix's troops. Later, Caesar was forced to join the rest of the Roman army in Gaul. The reinforced Roman army held off the enemy. The Gallic prince had to retreat to a fort called Alesia. Caesar encircled the fortress and began building a blockade. The stronghold, situated on a high hill between Lutosa and Osera rivers, was almost inaccessible for the attackers. Therefore, the Roman commander chose to force the enemy to capitulate by hunger. Caesar began the siege by encircling the whole fortress with a 4-meter-high bank. The fortifications were 17 kilometers or 10.5 miles long, which must have been an incredible constructional achievement. While the soldiers were building camps and trenches, they were protected by cavalry and auxiliary troops. The legionaries raised 23 forts connected by a bank and a moat. The Roman fortifications were incredible. Alesia was encircled by a 6-meter wide ditch, and about 400 paces further the bank was situated. It was additionally protected by 2 dikes, one empty and one full of water. On top of the bank there was a pathway, and every 24 meters a turret was placed. In the front, the Romans also installed rows of pointed stakes put into the ground. During the construction, however, Vercingetorix sent some cavalry to go back and raised a huge army out of the unified Gallic tribes. It was big trouble for Caesar, because now he could expect an attack not only from the fort, but also from his back. To prevent that, the Roman commander decided to do something quite extraordinary. He ordered to build another line of fortifications on the outside, enclosing himself in a ring around the stronghold. Vercingetorix was desperately waiting for the reinforcements. The siege was prolonging, and so the Gallic commander made a very controversial decision. To spare food, thus buying a bit more time, he expelled all of the men that couldn't fight, including women and children. Caesar didn't let them out, and so as a consequence, all of them died between the two camps. Soon the Gallic support troops arrived. The Roman forces amounted to almost 60,000 men, 10 or 1500 of which was cavalry. The Gauls, on the other hand, massively outnumbered the Romans. Vercingetorix had under his command in Alesia 80,000 men, and the reinforcements amounted to 100,000 and 4,000 cavalry. The Gauls inside the ring had still food supplies for about 30 days, so they could defend the fortress for quite a long time. The next day, the Gauls from the outside attacked Romans. When Vercingetorix realized what was happening, he struck from the inside, but he had to first fill the protective ditch. The Romans, however, did manage to resist the offense from both sides. The following day was calm, since the Gauls were constructing ladders and tools for the attack. The next Gallic assault took place at night. Both sides were fighting bitterly. Many Gauls died running into the pointy stakes or being hit with Roman missiles. Despite also high casualties on the Roman side, the attack was defended successfully. In the morning, the Gauls, under command of a close relative to the Gallic leader named Vercingetorix, launched another attack on a weaker section of Roman fortifications. Only 2 legions, with a little help from auxiliaries and cavalry, were defending against 60,000 people. At the same time, Vercingetorix attacked the inner walls at full length, stretching the Roman army completely. Caesar knew that if the Gauls broke inside the fortifications, it could quickly be over. He was riding among his troops to inspire his men. The Gauls finally broke inside and started pressing the Romans further and further through the ring of fortifications. The Roman commander sent any unit he thought was spare to reinforce the main line of defense. Caesar took command of the cavalry. Then they moved to a different part of the battle and heroically broke outside through the Gauls. Once they accomplished that, they rushed to attack Vercingetorix from the back. Among the now encircled, but still much bigger, Gallic army, a panic broke out. They desperately wanted to escape, but it was already too late to retreat. The Romans slaughtered most of the enemy soldiers, and the rest, seeing that, ran away. Vercingetorix was forced to stay with his army inside the fortress. He capitulated to Caesar on the next day. As a result of this battle, the biggest uprising of Gaul came to an end. Vercingetorix was imprisoned for a couple of years and displayed in Rome's triumphal entry. Afterwards, he was ceremoniously strangled to death. Nowadays, Vercingetorix is considered to be a national hero of France.